Light robbery occurred on Saturday. Asked for more security and intermittent patrols to stop these incidents. We have details of this as police manhunt for robbers who attacked the jewelry shop in Accra. We also will hit the campaign trails, and we've got this plus business, sports and world news in this package. Please stay for details. Welcome back to News Today. Now, residents of Adabraka, a suburb of the central business district of Accra, say they are living in fear following a daylight robbery incident that occurred over the weekend. They say this is the third incident in the past 3 months, attributing the crime to a lack of security in the area. They've been speaking with Sweetie Abochi.
And we are here at Kabest Jewelry, right here in Adabraka, where we witnessed that broad daylight robbery about 48 hours ago. This morning we are here. Reactions have been pouring in from social media, among our own circles at home, in the offices. But we are here this morning to understand how are the residents feeling this morning. I've seen that there are some shops that are open, and shortly we'll be interacting with some of the residents who actually witnessed this incident. But I just want to show you how the bullets that were fired into the air, when they fell into the ground, they were able to perforate this tarred place. And there are about 4 of them. We are told that the police were here. They've gathered all the evidence, which means that they were able to dig out the casings from the ground. And it's not only there. We can see some, we were shown a number of them. I think the car is parked over that, so we can't see that. But let's head over here too. You can see that a shop is opened. A number of them, people have come out. It's Monday, and they'll tell you that life has to go on. But follow me now. Let's interact with residents who were actually here. Them feel, and ultimately, how confident are they right now as we speak in the security here in Adabraka? And thank you for speaking to us. Please, you can join us. Let's have a conversation. Over nature with them, Eddie. So we want to understand, first of all, what did you see on Saturday? What happened?
Anopa, best 10, 30 going, 10, 15 going. And car go park your motor no 4x4. A park your at least best 10 minutes or 5 minutes. I come by inside or taba is a customer. On the tongue good into parking the car into Kotokonu, scanning Kotokonu, we no share car no man. Papa, we all you do in shop. I'm share car no man. I'm share car no man pay into or call and I remember share no bar reverse.
Papa, way now they can no. Okay, so but you carry the load and put it in the car. Okay, but you were here with them. All right.
I'm dosu. Into Ohana Munishana, Papa no bar reverse. Bar reverse on the car no. But on the ball motor they see on a car no a cheetah no. I got now. I remember Jan Susie. Open the gate, open the door, open the door, open the door. Into one BNB, Tom shoot to Kanu, papa, and Tom shoot to Kanu, Aquanu. Open the door, Nabakujina Kanu boot. Into be a pen, 25 and got original boot. Almost like Tom fast Kanu. Because she can Nabaku 2 scanning, no 2 year.
Hold on, I need to do a translation so that our audience can follow us. So he's basically narrating what he saw on Saturday. He says that after some people who are regular people who often help to load the money and everything else into the car, helped to do that. And then the car was trying to move away to wherever their destination was. And then this car that had the armed robbers in it, crossed them on the junction where the motorbike is. I'll show you shortly after this. And they ordered the man to get out of the car, and he refused. So they started firing at the car. Did he get hurt? Did the driver get hurt? Deny. Okay, so they shot at the car, and the driver got frightened, and so he opened the car and then ran away. The driver ran away. Okay, and opened the car door, and so they got access now and started taking the money away. Okay, how did this whole experience make you feel?
Oh,
you told me that you've lived here for 40 years now.
Let's say 40 years. Yeah, you know, I had a bidiago. Your boss ni papa no. We papa we ni ya ni we are happy 2 times. We come 3 months ni. There by and we dia no. You work here, but couldn't see what I know.
This is the landlord here, and they're calling him honorable. Oh no, well, they say you ran into the toilet. But what was your experience?
I was sitting outside here. When I heard the gun. And my friend that was sitting down, he was looking at them. And he told me that the gunman is heading towards us. So we have to leave the place because they don't want us to see what is going on. So we left. But I didn't go into the toilet. But the bottom line of this case is that, the guy, I don't know, he had a friend. And that friend is misleading him. Because when you are doing such business here, we all know the money that they bring here. You have to protect your interest.
So police is on one hand for the culprit and will surely bring you updates on that story. Now let's do some election-related stories. This is your election headquarters. Now, with just some 32 days to the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, calls for peace and cessation of the deployment of armed men to polling centers have an increase. The road is signing this year's peace accord hasn't been without controversy. The opposition National Democratic Congress, led by its chairman Johnson Ketia, lashed out at the Peace Council, signaling its reluctance to sign the pact due to violence that rocked the 2020 election. Well, chairman of the Peace Council of Ghana, Reverend Dr. Gyamfi, says his outfit is working hard to get all the political parties to sign the Peace Pact. He made this call when the AU delegation donated some electrical equipment to the council.
On the Peace Pact, we have not come to the conclusion yet. And we want the public to know that for this year's election, we are doing Peace Pact in 25 constituencies, in addition to the National Peace Pact. So some Peace Pact will take place in some other constituencies that we think and we classify as some hotspots. So we are working towards all of these things. I think in the coming days, a lot more information will put up in the public domain. But for now, it takes time to get commitments from everybody. And those are the things we are working on.
Also, Bono East Regional Chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Gyamfi is asking political actors as well as stakeholders in the political process to abreast themselves with the requisite knowledge on electoral matters to ensure peaceful elections in the December polls. Now, he made this call in the Tichiman during the launch of his book titled Protecting the Integrity of the Ballot, a Collective Responsibility. Anna Sabit has more in this report.
Political parties as well as stakeholders in the electoral space have been urged to abreast themselves with the requisite knowledge about elections in the country to help have the needed peaceful electoral system. This call was made by the Bono East Regional Chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Gyamfi, at the launch of his book titled Protecting the Integrity of the Ballot, a Collective Responsibility.
I've noticed that interest in politics and elections is growing fast, but not with correspondent in the growth in knowledge in elections. When elections are approaching, people shout, we want peaceful elections. But the truth is that you can only have peaceful election when the election itself is credible. But the credibility of elections is not ensured by only Electoral Commission. In fact, it is a collective responsibility of all of us. But the question is, how can we help in doing something that we have no idea about?
Dr. Gyamfi noted that the Commission at the regional level is instituting measures aimed at helping ensure peace before, during and after the December polls, and this includes an educational work with political actors on the need to understand the relevance of maintaining peace throughout the region.
In fact, looking at the background here, our historical background here, we intend to organize a peace walk and peace talk, which will involve all the top hierarchy of political activists. They're going to do a peace walk where we will lead the team. They can be in their different political party t-shirts, so that we walk through the principal street of the town. And after that, we will come and give messages as to why there's a need for us to work together for peace.
Chairman of the Regional Peace Council, Reverend Prince Owusu Asiko, on his part expressed gratitude to the EC boss for the timely launch of the book, citing the crucial role the book is set to play in helping maintain peace ahead of the polls and asked that the outcome of the polls will determine the economic growth of the region.
Basically, is to educate us the do's and don'ts for us to have the know what and know how concerning election. And so this launching has been an eye-opener for some of us, I would say for all some who were here present today. Because if the politicians were to know the laws that entails in election, there wouldn't be any brouhaha, let alone for people to be maimed and others to be killed.
He also charged political parties to be open-minded in accepting the results of the elections, as that will be crucial to the peace of the area.
Let us be open-minded. Let's come with clean heart and clean mind, so as to follow the process and get what we are looking for. After all, both parties can win at the same time. At least one party will win. We need to do whatever we can so as to have peace in our motherland.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichiman.
With the December elections fast approaching, some NDC constituency executives in the Biakoya constituency are promising to respect peace and are committed to ensuring a violence-free election. This aligns with their presidential candidate, John Mahamas, who expressed his commitment to peace and justice at the launch of the National Peace Campaign in Accra on Sunday. As John Mahamas begins his tour of the Oti region, the executives have vowed to advise party supporters to refrain from any act of violence during the election. Maxwell Agbagba has more in this report from the Oti region. Hi, Maxwell.
Yeah, hello.
Perfect. Maxwell, good afternoon and thank you. Please give me an update on the store in the Oti region.
Well, many of the party supporters who are speaking to say they are encouraged by the NDC presidential candidate's recent pronouncement expressing relief and enthusiasm about John Mahamas' commitment to peace. They say, having witnessed the devastating effects of conflict, they emphasize that peace cannot exist without justice. They are urging all state institutions to fulfill their roles in upholding peace and fairness in the upcoming December elections. John Mahamas, about 5 minutes ago, finished speaking in the Biakoya constituency. And his first comment, he said he called off his campaign in the Kaga constituency in the northern region to be at yesterday's launch of the National Peace Campaign. He said the president and the NPP presidential candidates should have prioritized yesterday's event because they are directly in charge of security. He's been making a lot of promises in terms of the infrastructure development of the OT region. Key among the things he's been talking about, he's been promising the people about the construction of the public university in the OT region. If he is elected, he talked about the construction of a regional hospital in this region, a sports stadium, and a regional police command headquarters if he is elected president. Jennifer.
Well, has he touched on signing the peace pact, as the chairman for the party has said that it's almost as though they're going to sign it or not? Has he touched on that?
Well, he has always been expressing his commitment to peace and justice. And he said what will hold the party back, from signing the peace pact will be that it's important for all stakeholders, the Electoral Commission, the Ghana Police Service, and the Chief Justice, to also be made, to sign. And he has always made a point that there can be no peace without justice. In fact, at the recent governance forum organized by the party, he broadened the scope of the signees of the peace pact. He said it must include the Electoral Commission, it must also include the Chief Justice, it must include the Inspector General of Police, because he's also directly, he's a direct stakeholder in the elections. He says all these people must be involved in the signing of the peace pact. Today, he didn't speak directly on whether the party will sign the peace pact or not. But these are previous comments that he made in that regard.
Thank you so much, Maxwell. We'll definitely come to you later on Election Brief for updates as well. So thank you. Now, moving on, presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has started a 15-day campaign tour at the Ashanti region to engage voters ahead of the December 7 election. The tour is expected to take Dr. Bawumia to all 47 constituencies in the region as he interacts with traditional leaders, market women, artisans, and other stakeholders. According to his campaign team, Dr. Bawumia's tour will focus on the party's achievements in the region and plans for the future. We'll also go there a little later and then bring you updates from his tour. Now, moving away from elections, chasing vehicles to make a living, that is what Akwesio Wusu has been doing for years. Though proud of what he does, he wishes to be off the streets, own a shop and trade in less harsh weather conditions. He's been speaking to Hannah Odame for today's edition of Streets of Despair.
Scorching sun, lots of walking and running about, and at the end of the day, his profits may even be taken away by a speeding driver.
Oh, V8.
About 3 people have taken my money away, and they drive V8. They say they will do mobile money, so I should run to catch up with them after they take the carpet. By the time I got to them, they are spared off. I was so sad that day.
Akwesio Wusu has been selling leather car carpets for close to 10 years. His official work site is stationed in between the roads, and when the red on the traffic light comes on, his adrenaline to run gets boosted.
Some of the drivers think we are thieves, so when they see us approaching their vehicle, they quickly roll down their windows and hide their bags. But we are not thieves here.
Even though he wishes the money he counts at the end of the day is more than he gets, Mr. Owusu, married with 2 children, has built a 2-bedroom house with what he's earned over the years. His daily prayer is not to get sick due to the conditions under which he works.
This job is very difficult. Sometimes I find it difficult to even get up. If you are not very strong, you cannot do it. Because of the weight of the product I sell and the walking, I become very weak. So daily, I pray for God to be my help.
In the next year, the car carpet seller is hopeful of owning his own shop where he can display his carpets and sell under a shade.
What I really pray to be able to do is to own my own shop. Though I do not make a lot of profit, at least I can make 200 cedis a day. Other days too, I get nothing.
For Joy News, I am Hannah Odame.
Let's go to the northern region where improving dietary diversity in northern Ghana is gaining momentum. The Bolga East District is attributing the gains to the nutrition-friendly school initiative, which they say has significantly improved school attendance. The program will promote a balanced diet and reduce the intake of high-energy nutrients, poor foods among school children. The ultimate objective is to promote physical and mental development in young learners. There's more in the following report.
What do we get from Yellow Milo?
The nutrition-friendly school initiative brings engaging, healthy activities to classrooms across Bolga East. Each week, students participate in designated days like Protein Day, where they focus on meals rich in proteins, and Fruits Day with emphasis on the benefits of fresh fruits by bringing some from home. There is also Physical Education Days, which focuses on exercise and inspection days, encouraging good personal hygiene habits.
So we have realized that their eating habits has really improved with regards to
eating foods which are rich in micronutrients. For instance, with the egg day, we notice that days which are not even designated as egg days, we find them bringing eggs to school, meaning we have had a positive impact on them. And then with fruits, we find them eating fruits even on days which are not fruit days. They come to talk to their teachers on days which the teachers may have even skipped the fruit day activity, that, oh, master, today is fruit day, today is egg day and all that. So we see that it's actually improving upon them.
We have pineapple and banana here. Can we talk about them? What do we get from pineapple?
Attendance used to be a significant challenge, but since the program began 3 years ago, the district has seen improvements. According to program leaders, the excitement around these activities is encouraging students to show up and engage.
There were also a lot of absenteeism and others, but we have realized that with these kind of activities, it actually encourages them to come to school, and also it has also improved upon most of the weight of the children, in addition to the school feeding program, which is currently ongoing in the school.
To support adolescent health, the district, along with UNICEF, has introduced iron and folic acid supplements at the junior high levels, especially for girls. These supplements are taken under the supervision of teachers and parents with the aim of preventing anemia and promoting overall well-being. This comprehensive approach to health and nutrition appears to be laying a strong foundation for futures of school children in Bolga East.
Ghana's firefighting ability is in serious crisis as a significant number of fire tenders are either dysfunctional or out of commission. The situation is even dire in the Oti and Upper East regions, where 100% of appliances have serious problems, making it difficult for firefighters to use. Volta, Greater Accra, including the fire service headquarters itself, are facing a crisis situation in responding to fires. The details are contained in a response from the Ghana National Fire Service to a right to information request submitted to the service. Joy News' editor Fred Smith joins me for details. Now, what does the fire service say is the level of preparedness to respond to fires in emergency situations?
Well, first, I will need to understand the scope of the work the fire service does. What they do go beyond firefighting to include road accident rescues, saving drowning people, rescuing those trapped in collapsed buildings, flood rescue operations, and even dealing with bee attacks. And these, you agree with me, are life or death situations where time is of the essence if the fire service will have to respond to them. The service indicates in the response that it is well prepared to combat any undesired fires. However, the data on its firefighting equipment, which we obtained, shows otherwise and exposes the struggles within the Ghana National Fire Service in discharging its duties.
Well, so for the data that you obtained, let's talk about the availability of engines for the firefighters. Do they have enough?
Well, you know, Ghana's population, 30.8 million plus people here, and there are only 248 fire engines across the entire country. Now, what is more serious is that 133 of these 248 fire engines are either faulty or not functioning at all. And that's representing 53.6%. So more than half of all fire engines in Ghana today are either faulty or not functioning at all. And some of the common issues with the fire tenders are engine malfunctions, brake faults, control board problems, and electrical faults.
And which areas are most affected?
Well, there are two regions with a 100% appliance problem, and that's the Upper East and Oti regions. In the Volta region, 15 out of the 17 fire engines there are either faulty or not functioning at all. The Upper West region has 14 fire tenders. 12 of them are not working. They are in a similar situation. In the Greater Accra region, around 60% of fire engines are either faulty or out of service, and critical areas like Adenta, Abelenkpe, Trade Fair, and Tema are left with only one operational track, which may also be in poor condition. And even the national headquarters is struggling whether it's here, the fire service headquarters is also struggling. So the fire service has 6 out of the 8 engines there being faulty or out of service.
I definitely can imagine the impact this will have, but you have the data. Tell me the impact it's having in our firefighting.
Well, I'll give you the impact later, but let me just give you a bit more on the areas affected. At Kolebu, there's none at all.
What?
The Kolebu station. And you know Kolebu is close to a major hospital and areas where the population is quite dense. They don't have at all because that's broken down. In Weja, they also don't have. They recently had, but that one has developed an engine problem. So in the RTI response, they indicate that it has an engine problem, so it's out of commission. Now, we investigated further and got to understand that this engine was sent from Weja to support firefighting operations in Kaswa, nearby Kaswa, and on its way, it caught fire itself. And so it never got to the destination.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, I'm only thinking about the impact that will have. And now I'm even more concerned about Kolebu, knowing that that hospital over there serves not just only Ghana, but West Africa,
Indeed.
the region. Yeah. And so I want to understand the impact this can have.
So when there's fire outbreak in Kolebu, for instance, they'll have to move a fire engine from the headquarters, which is already struggling. So assuming that there's fire around Makola or somewhere that they're dealing with, it will be almost impossible for them to move to Kolebu, or maybe rely on Dansoman, which has its fair share of the problems that we are talking about. So all of these and the shortages that we are facing indicate that if you have a fire issue, it will take the fire service a very long time to get there, even if they get there at all.
Wow.
And to compound this, the service indicates that a good number of the fire hydrants, which so assuming they are able to move there, second thing will be to get water to extinguish the fire. That one, they still have problems with those as well.
Thank you. I know that you follow this story to bring us updates. Thank you so much, Fred Smith. Now, the Ghana Climate Compatible Growth Network is uniting stakeholders across sectors to champion sustainable energy and transportation solutions in the country. Now, in August 2024, the network launched special interest groups to focus on the country's energy transition and climate resilient development. These groups will support capacity building initiatives and generating new insights to shape Ghana's sustainable future. During the network's annual workshop in Accra, experts from academia, industry, government, and civil society discussed strategies related to infrastructure, energy, and transportation transitions. Now, Mahmoud Nuruddin reports.
Achieving net zero by 2060 will require emissions to peak by the mid-2030s, followed by a rapid decline. Meeting this goal presents considerable financing challenges, with Ghana's National Energy Transition Framework estimating that a cumulative capital investment of about $550 billion will be required. Ghana Climate Compatible Growth Network is encouraging dialogue on transforming ideas into impactful projects that address decarbonization goals in the energy and transport sectors through research, investment, and analysis. The 5 key areas of interest are new energy vehicles, green hydrogen, financing the energy transition, inclusive net zero emissions future, and clean cooking. Coordinator of climate compatible growth activities in Ghana, Professor Francis Kemaswa, emphasizes the collaborative nature of the special interest groups.
So what we are doing is bringing people together into these special interest groups so they can pull their ideas together, so they can be able to conduct research, to conduct some analysis into some of these areas that are of interest to us. I mean, in the end, what we want to do is to be able to contribute towards a sustainable energy transition in Ghana, as well as sustainable transportation.
My name is Jairo Quiroz. I am Deputy Director of the Climate Compatible Program and also Professor at Loughborough University. We are extremely proud to be supporting the country in Ghana with these studies to support the energy transition in the country. These 2 days, yesterday, Tuesday and Wednesday, being quite productive here in the country, having discussions or dialogue with multiple stakeholders, discussing the different alternatives that the country have in terms of the energy transition and options to really move away from dirty energy to clean energy as soon as possible and hopefully before 2050.
Reflecting on the productivity of the two-day workshop, he says,
we've been discussing how productive or what are the different options in terms of the electricity sector, the transport sector the country has. So hopefully this workshop will give us enough information to start discussing in more in-depth using multiple quantitative and qualitative tools available for free within the Climate Compatible Growth Program, and also the dialogue with the different stakeholders to co-create energy transition plans that the country will adopt.
Country Program Manager for Center for Global Equality, Dr. Elizabeth Tennyson, highlights the importance of co-creative research and capacity-building initiatives that aligns with Ghana's sustainable development objectives.
So exciting to see the different groups that have formed since last year. I was inspired by the clean cooking conversation, the different Jessie conversations, and we actually are going to see some new focal areas coming up, particularly the just energy transition, as well as some climate infrastructure and resilience. So I look forward to seeing what happens next year in the third annual workshop.
Adding to the dialogue, Senior Policy Analyst and Monitoring, Evaluation and Learning Manager at Africa Center for Energy Policy, Mabel Akwe, emphasizes the importance of renewable energy and clean cooking solutions, especially as Ghana's reliance on biomass fuels poses significant challenges for achieving clean cooking targets.
Clean cooking has also become imperative. This is because dependency on biomass has other adverse or negative impact on our wealth and general well-being. Safety issues are all concerns. Even exposure to fire by children are all safety and quality concerns.
As we transition to these new technologies or green technologies, we need to recognize first issues with disability, and we also need to include persons with disability both in research, in advocacy, and the development.
Time now for business. Please stay.
It's time for business on Joy News today. My name is Winston Taki. The Ghana Association of Restructuring and Insolvency Advisors, GARIA, is advocating more awareness on the importance of insolvency law in Ghana. GARIA is of the view that most stakeholders are unaware of the tenet of the law in addressing serious situations when the need arises for a company to declare bankruptcy. Speaking at the launch of the second edition of the GARIA Journal, the president of GARIA, Felix Addo, said training more insolvency practitioners will help turn around struggling companies.
Our insolvency practitioners have acquired lots of experiences over years. Some have acquired experiences in outside countries. The insolvency profession itself in Ghana is a very young profession, okay? And we are now trying to make sure that issues like administration, turnaround, rescue are brought to the fore, because we don't want companies to go into liquidation when they could be turned around. Yeah. But you notice that in a way it's new here. The laws, the serial law, is what allowed us to now do administrations and rescue in Ghana. These types of techniques have been used in the advanced economies for several decades. And so they have acquired experience. We don't have experiences of that nature here. In fact, since the law was passed in about 5 years ago, only 3 administrations or attempts to rescue companies have been done in Ghana. And so there's a shortage of expertise. There's a shortage, a dearth of knowledge base, okay? And this is where the thought leadership, which the journal brings, is so critical.
The Deputy Managing Director of the Fidelity Bank Ghana, Ataye Boajan, has said the implementation of some strategic initiatives has created jobs and impacted over 2,400 smallholder farmers, among others, as part of their social responsibilities in line with Ghana's developmental agenda. Speaking at a media forum in Sunyani, Boajan asserted that measures are in place to sustain and grow the bank's profitability to ensure more developmental support for the people. Precious Semavo has more.
The Fidelity Bank Media Forum brought together selected journalists from the Bono East and Ahafo regions for a collaborative engagement towards a sustainable future. The Deputy Managing Director of the bank, Ataye Boajan, noted that having recovered from a 2022 deficit to a profit of over 1 billion cedis in 2023, they were more passionate about expanding contributions to Ghana's development with some strategic initiatives to benefit people. He said the agricultural sector had received massive support through the Green Tech Innovation Challenge, which provided a 1.5 million cedis grant for 17 groundbreaking businesses in the agricultural value chain. He asserted that inclusive growth remains their target.
We are also empowering young entrepreneurs, particularly women, through our Fidelity Young Entrepreneurship Initiative, which has supported 103 small and medium-sized enterprises this year alone, disbursing a total of 14.35 million Ghana cedis. Our partnership with MasterCard Foundation under the Bridge in Agriculture initiative continues to deliver significant results. Since the beginning of the year, we have created 119 new jobs. We have sustained over 3,000 existing jobs, and we have positively impacted 2,483 smallholder farmers. Inclusive growth remains at the heart of our efforts in the agricultural sector.
Given the current economic challenges, Mr. Boajan assured that Fidelity Bank has a sustainable profitability growth strategy to ensure continuous giving back to society.
This year, we have covered almost 10 months, and I can confirm that this year the profits will be higher than what we did last year. And it's all in our quest to support the economy to grow. It is when we make profit that we are able to undertake corporate social responsibility. I indicated that we were building 15 schools, basic schools, to support Ghana Education Service. Once we operate in the community and the community is supporting us, we must give back.
Precious Semevo, Joy Business, Sunyai.
That's all for business. My name is Winston Taki. Coming up is sports after this break. Stay tuned.
Time now to bring you sports here on Joy News. Today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah, Ghana's high jump gold medalist in this year's African Games 2023. Cadman Evans here, Reese not graduating from his university, the Central University of Missouri, following his failure to be able to raise money to pay his school fees. This is because the school withdrew his scholarship after he had gone about 5 years in the NCAA. The school says that he has until December 15 to be able to raise about $15,000 to pay for his tuition fee, else he will not be graduating, and that a debt collection company, will be sent after him to collect their money.
About 3 months ago, when the semester began, I had 1 year of eligibility to do sports for my university, and my scholarship was depending on this eligibility. Since I'm an athlete, they will pay for my tuition and everything. However, when there was a change of management, this eligibility, according to the NCAA, I had 6 years of school, so they strike out the eligibility I had. which made my tuition taken away from me. I tried solving it with the management up here. At least I've spent 2 years up here, so at least I should pay my last semester remaining so I could graduate from school. However, as I said, their hands are tied. We did everything we could, but my scholarship couldn't be granted since there was a change of management. And I've tried other means of getting money to pay for my tuition. All these means have not come by so easily. Nobody has responded so far. I've tried all I could and all I can. So in short, my scholarship was taken away from me, and then there's no way I could pay that tuition on my bill right now. So.
President of Ghana Athletics, Gyamfi Senior, has been reacting to this interview he had on Game Plan last Friday, and he says the athletics governing body will do all they can to support the athletes.
We've heard it over the media, not officially. I would have wished the athletes write officially to Ghana Athletics for our intervention. But nonetheless, we are working to see how we can support him. Everything boils down to eligibility. We can talk about it later. But that's not the time for us to dwell on the issues or the problems. We are looking at the solution, how we are going to support him. So we are talking to stakeholders in the ministry to see how best we can support him to be able to complete his school this December. So let's pray. We'll do what we can do to support him.
I was made to understand that he has a deadline of December 15. I don't know if you know this, and how quickly is he going to get that support?
I can't give a deadline because I'm also talking to people. I hope within this month we should be able to get the support for him so that it doesn't meet the 15th deadline next month. It will be very painful. Such a talented athlete will not be able to graduate from his school. So we'll pray and we'll work towards ensuring that he get the money, the 15,000 to be able to pay before the end of this month.
And that is your sports. For now, we do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. The news continues right after this.
Welcome back to News Today with me. Now, presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Bawumia, has started a 15-day campaign tour of the Ashanti region to engage voters ahead of the December 7 elections. The tour is expected to take Dr. Bawumia to all 47 constituencies in the region. He has interacted with traditional leaders, market women, artisans, and other stakeholders. According to his campaign team, Dr. Bawumia's tour will focus on the party's achievements in the region and plans for the future. Let's speak to Nana Boachi Yadom, who is on the beat. Hi, Nana Boachi, good afternoon, and please bring me updates on where he's starting exactly the tour from.
Region, the Vice President and flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, is starting his 15-day tour in the Ashanti region. Well, he is beginning from Atwemamponua. This is the first constituency he is starting his campaign tour of the Ashanti region from. Right from Atwemamponua, the Vice President will be going to two other constituencies, Atwemamwabieja North and South, where he would be interacting with some party supporters. Well, earlier when he touched down to the Ashanti region, he engaged some traditional leaders at Droboso. He also engaged the clergy, imams, and some party sympathizers. Today happens to be exactly 1 year that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was elected the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. So wherever he goes, he has been expressing his appreciation to party delegates, especially to the delegates of the Ashanti region, because he won massively in the super delegate election and generally during the party's election in the Ashanti region. And so this happens to also be the last region that the Vice President will be touring as part of his nationwide campaign tour. He has been to 15 regions, and the Ashanti region will be the 16th region that the Vice President would be visiting. Well, today he is not visiting the Menshia Palace as he begins the tour. No, he will be doing that at the latter part of his campaign. That is what the campaign team tells us. But then he is touching base with the grassroots and every single person who who does matter when it comes into the country's electioneering process. That is why he's going into the various constituencies, touting the achievements of the Akufo-Addo government and also interacting with the clergy and traditional leaders. Well, let us mention some of the few things that the Vice President has been saying right after his engagement with the clergy and the traditional leaders. He has made mention that on Thursday, the 7th of November, the government is going to launch the credit scoring system, the very first time in the history of Ghana. That's according to the Vice President. And this is going to be a huge milestone for the country's development in giving credit to the business community. He has also said that beginning next year, the 1st of January, government is going to commission almost a major part of a huge number of the Agenda 111 project. And the commissioning of this project means that government is going to employ over 70,000 nurses into the health sector, which is not just going to be a huge milestone for the health sector, but also a huge milestone in government's effort in curbing down unemployment. That's what the Vice President says. He has also been talking about illegal mining, where he says that he's going to partner the Geological Service in ensuring that places whereas governments can identify gold would be well identified for small-scale miners, and also anybody who wants to engage in mining would gain licenses to participate in responsible mining. These are the words of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud.
Very well, thank you, Nana Bwachiyadom. Now we'll bring you updates of that tour later on Election Brief. However, time now for world news. At least 36 people have died and several injured after a bus fell into a gorge in northern states in India. Officials said 44 people were on board when the driver lost control and the bus fell into a 50-meter deep ditch. The state government has ordered an inquiry into the accidents. Buses on the main mode of transport in the Himalayan state, and accidents are not uncommon. The bus was on its way to state Ramnagar district when the accident took place on Monday morning. Photos and videos showed from the site showed the badly damaged vehicle overturned at the bottom of the hill. Sad story there. Now, also, police in South Africa have forced 540 illegal miners out of an abandoned mine shaft and arrested them. Earlier this week, security forces blocked deliveries of food and water to the miners in a bid to push them out of the mine. The miners experienced starvation and dehydration and were forced to resurface. Police say individuals have been emerging from the mine located in the northern town of Orkney since Saturday, though hundreds are believed to remain in the shaft. Many thanks for joining us today on News Today with me, Emefa Akosia Adeti. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. Thank you. Marketplace up next. Bye.